Back with Bobby and JG Radio, we have Dr. Cynthia Phelps, and she is with InnerAlly. I want to say thank you for hanging out with us today.
Are you a great swimmer?
Because of the Phelps.
Right? I wish there was a family relationship,
No.
but as far as I know, there's not.
Okay.
So, Cynthia, talk about InnerAlly. What are you guys doing here in the San Antonio metro area, and what is it all about?
So InnerAlly is a startup company where we're working on developing mobile apps to help people practice mental wellness. So just like you would go to the gym and practice physical fitness, obviously, if you stop going, you're not going to be physical fit for long, right?
And I know that feeling.
And so InnerAlly is basically like a gym for your
Mind.
an emotional well-being, really.
So, Bobby, you got to sign up. for this,
Okay.
dude.
I
There
need
you
that
go.
in my life too.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, babe.
I think we all do, because it's a huge component of success.
What kind of exercises are these?
A lot of
So-
pull-ups.
Mental pull-ups.
No, I'm just kidding.
A lot of mental sweating. One of the most important things is the practice of being kind and supportive to yourself. And that sounds really simple. And in fact, some of the practices are pretty simple, but it involves mindfulness. So basically paying attention in your mind to the thoughts that you're having. And so in particular, so let's say, you blow an interview at a radio station and you really screw it up and you're like, I can't believe I did that. I'm such an idiot. So that kind of inner voice is actually a little harmful to you, rather than having an inner voice that, once you really screw something up, you can come back and be like, wow, that didn't go so well. But everybody makes mistakes, and I know that I'm going to do better and I'm going to have another shot.
Exactly.
Something kind and supportive. So the inner narrative, this is not voices in your head, but this is something that everybody has, and it actually helps you kind of navigate the world and also to do planning for the future, a lot of very important things. And so the difference between people who can speak very kindly and supportive of themselves versus people who are critical and harsh, these people that are kind and supportive actually are more resilient, which means that those are the people that can pick themselves off the floor when life baps them down. It's also shown to be associated with lower depression and anxiety. They have better interpersonal relationships, and it's really just kind of encompasses so many areas of your life, more creativity, more productivity. And so when I first learned about this research, it was actually done by a woman named Kristen Neff, who is at UT Austin. I was blown away, and I was like, these are the things I want in my life. And so I immediately started training to be a teacher for her classes. And I also called her up and I said, hey, we should make an app. And so we're working on that now. Yeah.
So the application itself is going to be for other people like you that want to,
Like anybody. Yep.
or like anyone that wants to take what she did in the course of Austin and take it to, I guess, a broader audience.
That's right. Well, I mean, the course is an 8-week course, and we meet on Mondays. That we're going to be meeting October 21st, starting then.
Sure.
Which I guess will be tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
And so it's from Mondays at 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And so every Monday for 8 weeks. So that's a substantial amount of time. It also has resources that are associated with it.
Yeah, that's more school than Bobby's ever been to his whole life combined.
And so not everybody has the time to do that kind of course, or maybe you've done the course, like some of my students, and had like really amazing experiences and outcomes. I have had health professionals take the course, and I've had entrepreneurs, all kinds of different folks. And sometimes what you need after the course is over is a way to kind of carry it forward and really be able to continue the practice. Because really, this idea of being kind and supportive to yourself is something that you can do all the time.
So do you think this course is universal? Like it'll work for anyone?
You can go online and test yourself. So if you already have high levels of compassion, and there are people roaming around out there that do, you will test very high. And so if you just go to self-compassion.org, you can take the quiz. It says, test myself. And so if you're already high, you don't need to take the class. But what I found is that in our culture, people tend to have this misconception that if they're really hard on themselves, like a drill sergeant, or, just maybe that's the way you were raised, to think that that's the way to be more motivating to yourself. So it seems to be very rampant. And so, especially with women, I think tend to be very hard on themselves. Sometimes you can look outside and blame or, come up with a reason that things didn't go so well. But some people look inside and they really are hard on themselves about what went wrong. And so, I think if you answer the question what happens when you really screw something up? What does that internal voice sound like? Then if you can be honest and say, oh, I'm really hard on myself, I call myself names that I would never call anybody else.
No, I call other people names. I'm good to myself.
Well, and you may be high.
Yeah.
You may be one of those persons that don't need the
high.
class.
Yeah.
Or, maybe you're lacking self-confidence in some areas where
He has way too much.
you actually have the skill, right? But the rest of the internal
it's
part
called
doesn't
supreme
match.
confidence.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite.
So how do you feel that is there a relationship between what you're talking about and addiction?
Oh gosh. So thank you for asking that question.
You're
because I'm just getting ready to publish a paper with Dr. Jennifer Potter, who is an expert in opioid addiction here at UT Health Science Center, UT Health in San Antonio. And that paper shows that there's a correlation between people with low self-compassion are at higher risk for addiction.
Because they're hard on themselves.
Yeah, we don't know.
We're not sure yet.
We can't say that from a science perspective, but I think, from just a layperson's perspective, it's pretty easy to guess, right? Because addiction is a little bit of a chicken and egg problem. Did you start trying to pacify yourself because you were really hard on yourself, or was it because you kind of got caught in addiction and then you're really hard on yourself because of it? And it can, just kind of a circular thing.
So you have to figure out which came first.
Well, or you could just try raising your level of self-compassion and see if it helps.
Gotcha. So quick takeaway, what should people just expect if they take this course, just overall?
Well, one thing to know is that the very first day of class, we create what I call a safe space, which is where the students in the class, not me, create rules for how they would like to be heard. And so there's not very many places in this world where you can go and express yourself things that are, you're talking about your own inner voice, right?
Yeah.
And so this can be some intimate stuff, perhaps. And so we create this very safe space based on how people want to be heard. And we honor everybody else's rules, and we circle back to those rules on a regular basis to make sure that we're creating that safe space. And so there's sharing. There are guided visualizations where you close your eyes and I walk you through a process. There's little activities that you do by yourself, maybe a written activity, and then maybe a turn to your partner and discuss type of a thing. And so that's the general format of the class.
And it's over 8 weeks. This seems like 2.5 hours every Monday.
That's right. You got it.
And it's located in the north central part of San Antonio, which is 12915 Jones Malsberger.
That's right. It's in a little center called the Center for Life, which is like a holistic center where and they just have a beautiful classroom space that's quiet, and it's right north of the airport, basically.
So where can someone sign up or get more information?
CynthiaPhelps.com/MSC for Mindful Self-Compassion is where you can sign up. Or you can email me at Cynthia@InnerAlly, INNERALLY.com.
Cool. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back. Bobby and JJ Radio.